Hey, it's Deck the Halls Day. Plus all sorts of other stuff. We're gonna go play a little bit of Christmas music here today. I'm gonna go post on the website, and then I'm going to tweet. I'm going to tweet. That's my new thing is to tweet. You have to type in the website https:// why the slash Jolly Roger Ukulele.com. Okay, there I pop up. Tweet. Go to jollyrogerukulele.com, scroll down to the 12 noon class. It's noon here. Who knows what time it is where you are? But this is the time we do the little bit easier stuff at the noon hour and the little bit harder stuff at the 1 o'clock hour. 2 hours nonstop ukulele. It's the best 2 hours of the day. And we're playing all Christmas music from now until December, whenever we decide that enough is enough. And we'll be doing a little bit of next week. I'm hoping to get a bunch of Hanukkah songs in, so I haven't done those yet. I've done a few of them for guitar, and I'll convert them over to ukulele theoretically, and we'll be doing some of that. Let's see. Close that window. Looks like we're up and running with Jolly Roger, so that'll mean people will come wandering in theoretically. Lynn is already here. Hey Lynn, welcome in. Not raining today, but it is cloudy. Yeah, I saw. It wasn't somebody else. I think might have been on the news or something. I saw all this rain going on out there, and I thought I already know about that because Lynn told me. So yeah, good deal. Happy Monday, Evelyn. Evelyn's having a. Did you say 70-degree day down in Cuenca? Happy Monday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, by the way, Evelyn, it is Tuesday. Nice catch, Lynn. Oh, gosh. I don't know what day it is either. Nobody knows what day it is anymore. Hey, Nancy, welcome in. Glad to have you. Let's see here. Nancy, how's life where you are? What's the weather like? Should be warm down there, right? I'm wondering when I change strings on this last. Starting to sound a little dicey. Let's see. So today, wondering what time it is. Oh, we should get it going. Hey Vic, Foggy, and Eugene. Donna says hello, Donna, to Gary and the gang. 50. Oh, it's 57. No, okay, all right. Only 57. That's freezing. All right, let's get into this. So, guys, just a quick overview of where I'm at and what I'm doing this week. You guys have all the music posted for the week that you're going to be having, but we're also going to be mixing in music from the upper list. I kind of know which ones are the little bit easier ones and the little bit harder ones, and so we will be mixing in some of those as we go along. Each day. So as you come in and you get, as you're building your Christmas book for ukulele, make sure you're also printing out the stuff from the 1 o'clock hour. We'll focus in on the stuff in the 12 o'clock hour, of course, but at the end we'll have extra time. Today we may not. But generally speaking, we'll grab one or two of the songs from the 1 o'clock hour. And so just make sure you're printing all those out and putting them all in your book. You're going to want them all. And they're all really nice pieces of music. So, hey, Valerie, welcome in. So I'm trying to sneeze. There it is. And so just make sure you're keeping your book full of all of the pieces of music. And then from time to time, we'll grab something out of the 1 o'clock hour and play that. Generally speaking, this hour, I like it to be a little bit of the easier stuff. And that hour, I don't care if it's hard or easy in that hour. So they have to play whatever I tell them to play. Let's do Deck the Halls. This is a fun piece and actually quite playable on the ukulele. There's one moment when it's going to require a bit of technical skill, but outside of that, it's a really pretty nice piece of music. So let's talk about the chords. Okay, F chord. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. And then remember, when you go to G minor, we have a lot of G minors in Christmas music. I don't know why. You drop these two fingers straight down and then add your ring finger, and you got your G minor on. Fa la la la, and then back to F. La 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Then you're going to drop up here. Fa la 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 la. Okay, and again, when we're talking about singing and strumming, it's not my thing, and you guys know I'm a terrible singer. But at least with holiday music, if you're going to be sharing it with other people, pretty good chance you're going to be strumming and singing. And so, just being thoughtful about making sure you're always working on your chords in that positioning. I don't spend a ton of time caring about chords because I know you'll get there, but I do care about that whatever manner of play is going on, that you're going to feel comfortable being a part of that. All right, so then that's through measure 8 and measure 9. If things get wild, we add a C chord in. Dawn we now are, and then F chord, gay apparel, fa la la, fa la la, la la la, bum 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 bum, and then there's a little instrumental thing there, and then F chord at measure 13. Troll the ancient. Let me get my pedal working. Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. So there's not a ton in the chords anyway, and so no point in me singing it, right? Again, there's no point in me singing anything, but at least not this song. Now let's talk about melody. That's what we're really here for. Whenever I tack melody, I'm looking at where's my problem going to be. 3 1 0 3 1 0 3 3 3 1. So everything looks pretty doable, right? Clear up until we get to measure 11, okay, and then things change. So the first 10 measures, I'm going to play 1s are here, 3s are here, and 0s. That's it. So I'm only going to be using my index and my ring finger. Otherwise, my hands are hanging out. When I get down to measure 11, it starts off fine. 0 2 3. Okay, you guys, all of a sudden you're like, oh, something's different going on. And then you got 5 7 8. Well, think about how smart it is. Rather than reaching your pinky 5 and then 7 and then 8, just take your whole hand, slide down here to 5th position, 5 7 and 8. Now you're going to be much more likely to hit those correctly. And then coming back at 7 5 and then slides down to 3 1 0 3. So you will be super wise. When you see that 5 coming up, jump up to 5. Okay, that is fifth position, going from first position playing to 5th position playing. Very normal in both, in all of the styles of fretted instrument I teach. First position playing, if there's no 1s, and sometimes we'll play in 2nd position, but those are the sort of the 2 main positions we use. And then the next most popular position is 5th position, going up to 5. And that covers 5, 6, 7, and 8. And boy, isn't that handy? Works out where it gets most of it. There is a difference, however. If you go over to measure 14 and look, all right, same deal, 1, 3, 0, 1. And now I have 4 5s in a row, but that's the highest note that I'm going to play. So in that case, it doesn't make a ton of sense to run your fingers all the way up here for those 4 5s and then slide back down. In that case, I'm probably just going to move my pinky up to play those 5s. So 5s in isolation by themselves and nothing else fancy around them, I'm probably going to go with my pinky. But if there's other stuff around it, 7s, 8s, 10s, I'm going to go up to 5th position every time. Right. So it's just a smart way to be thinking about how should I approach this fretboard when I'm playing melody. And as you guys know, in these workshops that I do, playing melody is a big deal because we're going to be teaching it. Once you can play melody, you've got 2 choices. You can play duets with another ukulele player or another guitar player or another piano player because you can get the melody out of this instrument and you don't have to sing. The other direction it goes is, hey, I want to be a solo instrumental player. We're going to be taking that melody and we're going to be adding in chords underneath it on these upper strings to create a real full rounded sound. I was watching another video today of a ukulele teacher, right? Some crazy out of here showing you there's some basic chords and then singing. And that's a way to play the ukulele. It's perfectly lovely. People, 95% probably of ukulele players, that's how they play. Thumb out of control, crazy shapes on their chords, singing and just having a grand old time. That's a perfectly legitimate and lovely way to play. But we're trying to turn this into the next level, right? Which is, hey, we're going to have proper positioning. We're going to be using this instrument in lots of different different ways, and we want to have the best possible skill set so that no matter what kind of music shows up, we can tackle it. All right, so Sharon Ibsen, do I know? She's a guitarist, right, Lynn? Sharon Ibsen? I'm thinking that I'm right on that. I have a tendency to know these players by videos, and I don't necessarily always know their names. Yeah, okay, Sharon Ibsen. I know who she is. I do recommend for those of you guys that are newer, if you're gonna go watch musicians, don't go watch ukulele players. Seriously, it's not a good. There are a handful that are good from a technical perspective, but for the most part, it's pablum. Go watch these classical guitarists. Go watch them. I've never seen one doing it wrong. That's how much. I mean, it is dyed in the wool. There's one way to do classical guitar correctly, and we're all going to do it that way. And honestly, it is the cutest thing when you watch them, because YouTube has done a huge service for classical guitar women, and it's a very male dominated field, and it's really backwoods. I mean, it's really siloed into this type of playing and approach to music that's only one way. They don't really care if other people are interested in what they're doing. They do it this one way. And when you watch classical guitar, they all do it exactly the same way. And it's very exacting, very specific. And you can sit and watch their left hands and learn a whole lot about what they're doing there for your ukulele playing, and even more so with their right hand. I mean, this business of playing these two fingers until they turn purple, it is absolutely helpful to start thinking about, if that's the correct way to play a fretted instrument, I should bring as much of that as I can over to this instrument. And so that's what we do. And I do think you'll learn a whole lot more from watching classical guitar players play than you'll ever learn from watching other ukulele players play. Me being the exception, of course, right? But what we want to be doing is, when we're approaching melody like this, if you're on classical guitar, there's no way you're reaching your pinky down here, because you're going to fail. So you slide up to fifth position. Well, we take that same information on ukulele, and we're in great shape. Now, there are lots of things you can do on this instrument that we cannot do on a classical guitar. So there are other ways of playing that makes this a better choice for most people. And I do think the biggest problem with classical guitar is, in order to get good, you basically have to do 5 years, 6 years of dedicated, consistent, multiple hour a day study in order to get there. And we don't need to do that on this instrument at all. You can get pretty good at this one with our half-hour, 45-minute lessons each day. You show up and learn how to play. Q is in the house. Checking out left hand. Every classical guitar player, you'll never see a thumb. It won't ever happen. You'll never see a thumb. Never one time. There are certain fingerstyle guitarists that will use a little bit of thumb, but for the most part, on classical guitar, you'll never see a thumb. It just isn't. It's just simply not going to happen. All right, let's play the melody. Okay. Remember, 1s are index, 3s are ring, and then when you get to that 5 down there at measure 11, slide up to fifth position and go up, and then come back down. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go play it one more time, a little bit slower. Ready, go. And then on that second time, you got that 8 sitting there. That's surprising. Okay, so it's just raised up an octave to get you some excitement going on there at the end. Okay, so that 8 sitting there in measure 17, you could just raise it up an octave just for fun, right? And so it sounds like instead of dun dun dun, you go dun dun bunk, right? So kind of fun. Hey, Antonio, welcome in. Deutsch Angel. on Angel. Brigitte is here. Glad you're here. All right, so we've got Deck the Halls. We've done the chords, not a complex chord structure. A lot of times in Christmas music, there's a little bit more depth of chords here. This one's not so bad. The other fascinating thing about this one, from a music theory perspective, if you think about most of the, like if you think of the songs that we learned in the beginning, Waltzing Matilda or something like that, had a C chord, an F chord, and a G chord, right? So if you put a C chord, take your hand, put a C chord on your thumb, C, D, E, F is on 4, and G is on 5. So 1, 4, and 5 chords always sound good together. And so if I put a D here, then I have D, E, F, G, and A. So I would play, if I'm playing in the key of D, I play D, G, and A, and those always sound good together. Same thing on ukulele, we'll play F, G, A, B flat, right? F, B flat, and C. F, B flat, and C, they sound great together. That's why everybody hates when you see F chord, you're like, oh gosh, there's probably a B flat lurking around here somewhere. So we've got those. Now, with this song, it's fascinating because doesn't follow that rule. You've got an F, and then you have a G. So you've got these two guys, and then of course the other one that shows up is C, which is over here, F, G, A, B, C. So now you have 1, 2, and 5 showing up. So that in and of itself is slightly unusual. These days, when you start studying jazz, they will give you the 1, 2, 5 pattern. And they call it a 2-5-1 pattern because it's jazz. But the same theory as with a jazz piece of music as this one. You're going to use the 1, you're going to use the 2 minor, and then the C, the 5th. And so in jazz, this song ends up sounding like. Whoops. So that's the jazz version of Deck the Halls, and you could do that. It would be kind of fun, actually. But just be mindful that even though the chord structure is sort of boring from a ukulele perspective, like you can do these chords no problem, there's a depth waiting here to be explored as you become a more advanced musician. Okay, finally, Deck the Halls with the chords melody. Okay, tough uke. Okay, let's walk through the whole thing, make sure everything's making sense. One moment is kind of a challenge. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So we're going to start with our F chord. Usually in finger style, we always start with the first chord. We just put it on and then see what we got. Okay, and in this case, because the melody's on 3, we add our pinky. Okay, so you play that. And then you hit the next note's a 1, so you're going to have to let your 1 off, take it off here, play the 1, and then put your F chord back on. And probably with your ring finger, you'll go grab this 3 by itself. And then you're still playing that F chord. So hopefully you've never even let up on your F chord. 2, 0, 1. Remember, you have a rest stroke there. So as you come down, you're not going to play the first string. Your thumb sits on that first string. And then you're going to play the 3. And then you're 2, 0, 1, 0. That's a full F chord. And then you're already holding down the 1, so pluck that. Now switch to your G minor chord. And you've got 0, 2, 3. You're already holding those down. Next note's a 0, and you're holding a 1 down. So lift that up to play the 0, and then put it right back down. And the 3 you're already holding down, so pluck that. And then now you're going to switch to your F chord. Okay, strum that. Ring finger on the 3 of the second string. And then you got F chord, partial. Rest stroke on the first string. Lift your index finger up, play the 0, and then put it back down and play another 3 strings. Okay, that's 1 through 4, complete thought. Measure 5 through 8 are very similar, might be exactly the same. F chord with your 3, change to the 1, go back to the regular F chord, ring finger to get the 3, little F chord, ring finger to get the 3, full F chord, hit the 1, G minor, go down, down, open, back to the 1, you're already holding down the 3, F chord, ring finger to get the 3, and then a partial F, lift your index finger up, hit the 0, F chord. Okay, now that's the first, so measures 1 through 4 and 5 through 8 are the same. Okay, so once you figure that out, you're like, well, I don't need to study the whole song. I just need to study 4 measures, and then I suddenly can play 8. Okay, measure 9, 0, 0, 3, and then O, and then a C7 chord, hit the 3 with your ring finger, go to your F chord, full F chord, index finger drops down to hit the 1, and then goes right back where it belongs, and you are going to add your 3 on at the top of that F chord. And I'm probably just going to lift my pinky up to get the other 3. Okay, and then I'm still holding that F chord. Ring finger to get the 2. Pinky to get the 3. Fa la la. Okay, and then you're going to put a bar on 5. And that's why every week on Fridays we do work our better bar worksheet. Okay, take your ring finger to get the 7. Take your pinky finger to get the 8. And then drop off the bar while holding your ring finger on the 7. Index finger goes and grabs the 5. And then jump down with your ring finger to grab the C chord. Index finger on 1. Open. Ring finger on 3. Okay, now that's the tough part of the song. Okay, measure 13. F chord with the 3. Change it out for the 1. And then a regular F chord. Ring finger on 3. Partial F chord. Rest stroke on the first string. Hit the 3. Hit the F chord. Index. And then here's a cool chord. The G minor on 5, it looks like an E minor. Okay, so you have your E minor, but just slide it up to 5, and it's a G minor now. And it's going to sound really cool. Isn't that cool? So 5, 5, 5. So you just grab that chord, and then you're going to have to jump back to your F chord with your pinky on 3. Do that. Index finger on 1. F chord. Hit the 3. Sorry. And then hit the partial F. We're going to go through. We're going to play the whole thing a second time and a third time. Okay, so 3 times through. And then on that last time, you're not going to play 16. We're going to go to 17. Go to 17. We're going to play an F chord. Hit the 3. And then this 5, 5, 5, 8 is going to come up a lot. It's a bar on 5, pinky on 8. That's your high F chord. That's an F chord up here higher on the fretboard. Okay, it sounds exactly right. And then you're going to go back down to your regular F chord and just play 3 strings. So we're going to go bump, bum, right? So very, very theatrical, very, very beautiful. All right, so we're about to make this happen. Deck the halls. We're bringing an English song with Scottish words that have been sanitized by public schools. By the original song was probably not a Christmas song. Then they added a bunch of drinking and partying songs to it. You know how the Scottish are. And then Oliphant, an Englishman, was like, well, I want to put this in this book where I'm going to teach this to kids. So we're going to take out all of the references to drinking. and then we're going to do that. By the way, if you go through and read the words are delightful. This is a lot of Christmas songs have stupid words, but these ones are actually quite pleasant. And they make sense, and the whole thing, everything's great about it. And so it's all cleaned up. Oliphant did a nice job with the words here. And then we brought this brought it out to the world, okay? And then in Portugal, they made the machete and moved it to Hawaii and made it a ukulele. And now here you are, ukulele in hand, Scottish tune with English cleaned up by the English, playing, and here you are, right? Isn't that kind of crazy to think about how music works? Probably a very old tune, to be honest. From the top, I'm going to play tough 3 times through. You're going to play whatever feels comfortable. So you might want to play chords, you might want to play the melody, you might want to play tough with me. I'm going to probably do thumb down the first time, then I'm probably going to switch to plucking, and then I'm going to end up with thumb. I think that's probably my plan. Okay, that way I get a chance to play the whole song in different ways and see which way sounds the best. And as I tell you guys all the time, we're in practice, right? We're trying to figure out how to do stuff so that you can find the best way that you want to play it. And then, of course, at your house or in your concert or where you're the concert hall down the street from you, you take your ukulele down there and play it in the way you think it's the best. All right, from the top, 3 times through. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the top. One more time. Whoops, sorry, I blew it. Turn the page. Sorry, from 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second ending. Okay. So my playing on that was iffy, but by Friday it'll be better. So long, kind of, it's a long song if you do all of the verses, but you could do it once or twice and make it not quite as long. But I do think it sounds lovely, don't you? Take time to read through the lyrics too. They're very, very pleasant. Like they make sense. All right, so there's Deck the Halls. We're going to do one other song today, and then I'm going to have you make sure that your book is together. I actually need to. I just realized I forgot to do something, and so we're going to play um, uh, our Minuet Suite, and then I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and then. And the next hour, we will be playing all through the 20 some songs on that list. Not all of them, of course, but we'll get through a bunch of them. I'll figure out where we left off yesterday. I want to keep going through all of those and seeing how many of those we can play in off the list at the 1 o'clock hour. So let's play through Minuet Suite. This, guys, is a lot, right? You probably have already figured out. You're like, this kind of hurts my head playing this song. And I'm kind of sticking with it now for a very specific reason that I will be revealed down the road. But I do think this Minuet Suite is one of those songs where, depending on what level you're playing at, you can end up with a pretty impressive piece of music here. And it's just a matter of you putting in the time, if you like the song, to turn it into something worth really presenting to an audience. So we're grabbing the Minuet Suite Complete, or popularly known as Bach's Minuet. And it really was written by Christian Petzold, and it was written on an organ, and now we're playing it on an ukulele. So here again, when you think about music, here's a guy in Dresden, writes this thing out. Somehow it ends up in Bach's paper. For 300 years, people think Bach wrote it. Some scholar went in and said, no, doesn't show any signs of Bach on it here, but definitely shows signs of Christian Petzold. Makes a pretty solid argument. The rest of the world around 1970 decided, yep, probably right. So it's really Christian Petzold's Minuet Suite that a copy had been given to Bach. And and that's so some organist in Dresden in the early 1700s hands this off to Bach, and the world messes around with it for 300 years. Then they hand it over to us, and we play it on this, right? So music is a cool thing. All right. Evelyn says, yes, it would be fun to try the jazzy version of the holiday song. I will, Evelyn. Those typically end up in either the 1 o'clock hour or the Monday night class. The hard stuff, this jazz stuff, gets really wonky pretty fast on ukulele, and it's not for the uninitiated. No, but yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you could take the chords that are on that song and start messing around with them. Well, what's an F major 7 sound like? What's an F minor 7 sound like? And to be honest, most jazz musicians, that's how they work. They're like, well, I would like to make this sound jazzy, so I'm going to add in some major 7s and minor 7s until I get something that's cool. And then, of course, in ultra modern jazz, they do a whole lot of even weirder chords than that, and that's why modern jazz sounds like it does, and why traditional jazz filled up with major and minor 7s sounds like it does. One of them is fun to listen to, the other is not. All right. All right. Remember from yesterday, Bach's Minuet Suite, we're going to play all the way top to bottom today, tomorrow, and the next day. And then on Friday, we will put in the repeats. If you're relatively new around here, you want to play the melody. Okay, the melody in and of itself is plenty hard, and and getting the timing right is pretty important. If you've been around here a while, obviously tough uke is the way to go. See if you can pull that off. This is the kind of music that a professional ukulele player would turn and say, look at me, this is really impressive, and people would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you can play something like that. Do you have the tabs? And here you go. This is something you could turn into something really amazing. All right. Top to bottom, don't do any of the repeats, and I'll try to coach you through what measure we're on as we're going along. Okay. I think I'm going to pluck it. Okay. But it works very beautifully as with strums. Okay. From the top, not fast. 1, 2, 3. Next page. Next page. Next page. Oh, I messed that up. Last page. I'm going to put 10, 10, 7, 7, 7, 10. All right. How do we do? How are we playing? I'm back to practice Bach. Lynn is like, you know what? Didn't get enough Bach earlier. I need some more Bach. All right, guys. So that's a decent piece. I want you to just spend as much time as you feel like you can, really looking through the pieces and parts of that. I played it iffy, but it's coming along, and I would say the part that blows me every time, I'm positive when I get to measure 53 that's a B flat and not an F. So I'm always forcing this wrong chord in there. But this is a fun piece. It really is, and it's definitely something that you could turn into. Like if your family finds out, hey, I heard you're taking ukulele lessons. to try to impress me with this little weird diminutive instrument that you play. You knock something like this out, they're going to be like, yeah, I was thinking we should go to the movies. They're not going to, they're going to be left speechless at how amazing it is that you can get that kind of music out of that kind of instrument, just reading tablature. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of you guys in the next hour, and like I said, make sure that you are working on printing out every single Christmas song that I post, either in the 1 o'clock hour or the 12 o'clock hour, which of course is whatever hour you're in. You're here, so you obviously have already made the time adjustments. But I'll put all the ukulele music in both of those time slots. And so just go through and double check you have it all in your book, because you're going to want it all, and it's all good stuff. You can't buy a book with this stuff in there. It's just much better than anything that's out there right now. And I want you to have it. And then those of you guys who haven't figured it out, the modern Christmas music, anything written after 1927, I think it is now, 29, 1926. Coming up is all still copyright iffy, and so I tend to put that in the Monday night class where under the subscription, so that it's not just floating around or out there for the attorneys at Disney to get all upset with me. Even on these classes here and behind the YouTube channel, some of these companies are like, oh, I see you're playing a song that we are in charge of. We're going to give you a copyright infringement notice. And it doesn't matter because I don't make any money on this, but it's just a weird world. And so I have to be a little careful with the modern Christmas music and the jazzy Christmas music that Evelyn was asking about. That's going to end up behind the firewall or the subscription panel. And so check it out. If you haven't ordered a subscription yet, it's $5 for the first week and $25 for a quarter. So it turns out it's about 27 cents a day. And so don't feel free. You ought to check it out. It's worth it. And there's going to be plenty more music behind that subscription wall that you didn't even know was there, and it's good stuff. So all of it is. All right. Brigitte, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Antonio, glad you made it. Nancy, let's see. Random act of kindness. Be safe. Practice. I always do that. Practice. That's not that fun. Keep showing up. Subscribe, like, and there was something. Oh, and talk about talk about joining as a member. All right, that's it. That's what I got for you. Vic, have a wonderful day. Nancy, you tried the membership subscription. PayPal is awful. It is. It does. Send me an email if you paid but didn't get into the system. There are occasionally little hiccups along the way, and I am technical support for that website, so it sometimes takes me a day or two to get back to you, but I do get back to you. If you're going to plunk down money, you're my people, right? And I want to make sure it goes well for you. PayPal is actually, Nancy, I'm going to just disagree with you just a tiny bit, right? PayPal is amazing. It is wonderful. It is incredible how they have managed to keep it safe and connected into all these different websites and stuff. But when you're relatively uninitiated, it can be a bit overwhelming. Yeah, but I've been using it for 15 years, and I will tell you, I am continually amazed. I get regular emails from Wells Fargo saying, well, we goofed up again. Well, sorry we did this thing. By the way, we just committed a crime. Sorry. Wells Fargo all the time. Emails regularly from those guys. PayPal, never, ever, never. They're just like, we just do things the right way. So yeah, so there's that. Okay, I'm going to pull the plug. I want to go eat a little bit of soup before the next class, and I will see all of you either in the next hour or tomorrow. Take care. And hello.